Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show with your host, Bill Shelton. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
And some years later, Mr. Roberts called one day and said, "John, I see you've missed a couple of Masters here. Where were you in '34? And I said, "Cliff, if they had had any child labor laws in North Carolina, I wouldn't have been here in '35. And perhaps the anecdote that they asked me to mention happened in '36. Horton Smith was the winner. In those days, hole number 5 was pretty well a briar patch far out on the course. Few people got that far out to sea. And it was wild country. They were coming up, Horton and his caddy coming up to 18th. And the caddy said, Mr. Smith, you're going to win. I know you're going to win. So if one rabbit's foot is good luck, you got 4 rabbit's foot in your bag. Horton said, what do you mean? He said, I caught this little rabbit on the 5th hole. He said, I didn't want to leave him out there, and I put him in the bag. So you got 4 rabbit's foot in your bag. Horton told me he noticed that caddy was very careful in reinserting the sticks into the bag. He didn't want to squash his rabbit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dan Jenkins.
Well, I was going to say it's about time. I'm more moved than that. I don't know what it means that the first 2 newspapers I worked for no longer exist, and Sports Illustrated has become barely readable. The first 4, Hogan, Snead, and then 4 for Arnold, then 6 for Nicholas, and the rest of it's blank. Just a bunch of country ham and the red-eye gravy in the clubhouse. It's been a thrill every minute, and those of you who will eventually be here as long as some of us have, you won't be able to remember anything except the 50 or 16 that Tiger Woods won.
Well, I've hung around long enough to hear an incredible accent adjustment in the leadership of the press committee. I figure these 14 people who are being celebrated here today have probably consumed 3,604 pimento cheese sandwiches. And it's been our privilege. It's wonderful to be included among this group, and some of us have been lucky enough to go to many of the great sports events in the world repeatedly. Olympics, Super Bowls, World Series, Final Fours, Wimbledons, many other things. And never have I seen a group of journalists celebrated like this, and I just want to thank you for keeping count, and it's just wonderful to be a part of all this. Thank you, Billy.
I came here in an old Model T rattle trap, standing out on the highway beside Athens, Georgia, trying to hitchhike here when I was 18 years old in 1946. Some kindly soul finally stopped and picked me up about 5 miles down the road. He said, I only picked you up on the condition that you would drive all the way to Augusta. So I drove to Augusta, and I think it took us about 5 hours to get here. When I got to the main gate out here on, I guess it was on Washington Road, I had heard they were selling tickets downtown for $5. Well, what did I know? I thought I knew everything. I walked up to the gate and said, I'm covering a tournament. And the man says, well, do you have any credentials? I said, yeah, I got a little piece of paper here. It says I'm sports editor of the Athens Herald. He said, go right in, go right in. A press tent is down by the first tee. As I recall, there was a little press tent about the size of a big Boy Scout tent. And it had 12 to 16 seats. nailed down planks on a planked desk, and about 16 typewriters and 16 bottles of whiskey, each in various sources of fullness or lack of fullness. And I was so dazzled that day. Obi Kilo was here. I believe Braylon Rice was still here. I've never gotten over that day. That was the most thrilling day I've ever had in my life.
Thank you. I'm very appreciative. Just for the record, I've closed one more newspaper in the Southwest than Jenkins. Woody Allen, I think it was, said that showing up is 80% of success. If he didn't, he should have. And everyone has been unique in its own way, and it's a very special place, as everybody says and knows. I have a caddy friend who was trying to pinpoint the mystique, which is very hard to do, and he said the thing about Augusta is when you come in the front gate, you behave a little better than you do anywhere else. I think it says something about the atmosphere here, and the friendships, the hospitality are just unsurpassed, and it couldn't pick a better group to be part of than this bunch of rogues here today.
Thank you. As everybody said, or at least implied, it is we, the writers and announcers, who should be thanking Augusta. One, for the tournament. I thank Billy Payne and the administration, everybody else, for making the writers always feel wanted here. I won't, as Dave Kindred more than implied, I talk a bit. And, so I won't talk too long up here. Just two things I remember. I showed up here. I was the first writer west of Dan Jenkins. You'll notice everybody else is from the East or Texas. And, oh, you're coming, and I would wear my badge. We had your name, a little badge, and people would say, boy, you're a long way from home. Yes, I am. The other thing was, there used to be a golf writer at New York Times, some of you knew him, Lincoln Worden, a crusty old guy, and I was like 27 years old, and he would say, hey kid, go down and see if Arnold Palmer's coming in. And I wonder what Lincoln would think now to say this.
Thank you very much, Rob. And Mr. Chairman, there's just two things that worry me. There's an indication that there were liberal libations passed around in the press room. I never got my share. That's that to start with. And the next thing that bothers me, that everybody that comes up here has gray hair. They are getting older. This is called platinum blonde, by the way.
What a wonderful morning. Every bit a treat and a wonderful experience for me and the members of Augusta National. In closing, I want all of our honorees to know that the dream of creating a lasting testament to the great game of golf, so beautifully articulated by Bobby Jones and Cliff Roberts over 70 years ago, has been well nurtured and advanced by each of you. For decades, your words have defined our rich and illustrious history. I hope that you know, from this day forward, you are now a part of that history. Congratulations and God bless you.